Hi guys, today I'll be taking a look at this, the Akko 5075B VIA. Let's get started. But firstly, a disclaimer, this keyboard was sent to me by Akko. I wasn't paid to make this review and I will remain as impartial as I can as per usual. Anyway, enjoy the review. Now, as the name suggests, this is VIA compatible, which honestly is about time. The 5075 model has been out for a couple of years now, and in my opinion, this is the single biggest upgrade Akko has made to it. Now, what Akko has sent over is the DIY kit, which doesn't come with switches or keycaps. However, they do offer this as a complete keyboard if that's more your liking. Pricing wise, the DIY kit is £57, which is one of the cheapest in its class, with the complete keyboard being £87. However, they do offer a slightly cheaper S version for only £52. The only difference is the S version can only be used in wired mode. The B version, which I have, can be used in wired, Bluetooth or via 2.4 GHz. Now that you know all that, let's move on to the keyboard characteristics. Now, the top and bottom housing is made of ABS plastic. It feels cheap and soft. Plus, Akko decided to use retaining tabs instead of screws, which meant I damaged the keyboard while opening it for the first time, as you can see with these pictures that I'm showing you. I also damaged the side LED diffusers since they were held so tightly to the case. Now, this is a bare bones kit, but Akko provides you with a plate and their own proprietary plate mounted stabilizers, which are actually really good quality. Additionally, there's also foam sandwiched between the plate and the PCB, as well as dampening material covering the battery at the base of the keyboard. And last but not least, the color matched cable. It's cheap feeling and I wish they gave us a braided one, but it's not the end of the world. Overall, I can forgive the cable, that's replaceable, but I wish Akko had used screws instead of retaining tabs and perhaps a higher quality plastic as well. 4 out of 10. Now, its feature set is where this keyboard really shines. Firstly, it's finally VIA compatible. This model has been out for a couple of years now, but has only been able to work with Akko's own software until now, and I think it's one of the biggest upgrades they've made to it. Secondly, it's 5-pin hot swap with south-facing LEDs, so you can put whatever MX switch you want with no interference. Thirdly, and this is a huge feature, you can use this keyboard in wired, 2.4 GHz with a dongle or Bluetooth, or all of those at the same time, which by the way most high-end keyboards don't even offer. Plus, I've been using it wirelessly for the last 2 weeks and it hasn't needed a charge. That is impressive. Lastly, it's gasket mounted with spare gaskets included in the box. Now, those were its main features, but it does have more. The keyboard's RGB LEDs turn off after a few minutes of inactivity, which improves battery life and the longevity of the LEDs. The keyboard also features a volume knob, N-key rollover, 2-stage flip-out feet, a keyboard cover, and Mac compatibility. Overall, it's packed full of features. It's got the basics covered with a ton of additional extras on top for good measure. 10 out of 10. Firstly, this 75% layout has been very convenient. It's essentially a more compact TKL, but not as compact as something like the Keychron K2. I like how the F keys and the nav keys have a bit of separation. Secondly, I like how Akko didn't have any weird key map defaults, so I didn't really need to change much in VIA, which saved me a lot of time. And lastly, the battery life. It can really hold its charge even with the RGB lights at full brightness. I haven't had to think about charging it at all even after 2 weeks of use. However, it does have a few downsides. Firstly, the volume knob isn't the smoothest to operate. It's made of cheap plastic, which also doesn't feel great. Secondly, the gaskets are quite stiff and don't allow for much flexibility. In fact, I can't even feel the difference between this keyboard and my tray mounted one, which I daily. Lastly, the RGB lights aren't as bright when compared to my custom 60% keyboard, although the side diffusers are a brilliant touch. Overall, it's a cheap keyboard and you can feel that, but it's a pretty good daily driver as a whole. 7 out of 10. Now, this is a brand new keyboard, so it's gonna be hard to tell how reliable these will be. Although, since it's hot swap, replacing a switch is easy enough, and the same goes for the cable. Plus, if something was to go wrong with the wired connection, you still have two to choose from. However, my biggest concerns are with the battery and the RGB LEDs wearing out over time, but mostly with the battery, especially if you're gonna use this wirelessly all the time. Additionally, I'm not too confident on its plastic nubs if you'll be opening this keyboard often, but this wouldn't be an issue if Akko had gone with screws instead. Overall, despite that, I think this will be a reliable keyboard. Just bear in mind the number of times you'll be opening it and how often you'll be using its battery. 7 out of 10. Now, I think at its current price of £57, this is one of the cheapest options on the market. And don't forget, you can save £5 if you opt out for the S variant if you don't plan on using the keyboard wirelessly. Now, this keyboard has a number of competitors around its price range, including the Owler 75 at $68, the Skyloom GK75 at £72, and the Rainy 75 at $99. Now, when it comes to premium options, you have keyboards like the Keychron V1 QMK at £106 and the Womeo SK75 at £111. Now, when you compare those keyboards spec per spec, none of them really line up with each other. So you're gonna have to choose which features matter to you most. But I can tell you one thing, most of those keyboards are better built than this one. Overall, it's cheaper compared to its rivals, so its value proposition is really good. 9 out of 10. In conclusion, if you're looking for the best bang for the buck, then this is one of your better options. Just remember, it's cheap for a reason. The final score for this keyboard is 37 out of 50 or 74%, ranking it second just below the 7G. It would have been higher if it was better built. And that's it. Next time I have more modern keyboards to show you. Until then, take care and goodbye.